regular scheduled Playmakers Podcast episode, but today we are going to be looking at college players' pro days. We realized that we talked about some of that during the podcast, but we were pretty much just trashing Zach Wilson, honestly. But we're going to get into these pro days. We're going to be looking at the big names, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with Trevor Lawrence because obviously he is the best talent in the draft so far. If anyone else says otherwise, what are you doing here? So for which one you want NFL?
Let's just rock through we can skip around through the NFL one. All right. Got Trevor Lawrence here. Dot. It's just a dot. So the thing with him is that he's got incredible anticipation and velocity on his throws.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that pass to Chris Fink. It's just like a 5-6 yard out, but he can just whip it in there. And I say it's 5-6 yard out, but the interesting thing about that is that when you're thrown to the far side of the field, that 5 yard throw is more like a 20 yard throw, right? So you need a guy who can just really laser it in there, because when you hang those balls out there, that's where interceptions come from. All right, now we're getting some meteor stuff. That's a great throw.
That I would say that's one of the hardest throws to make.
Yeah.
An out route to the left if you're a righty.
Far side of the field out 15 plus yards. That's a tough throw to make.
Yeah, you could probably hear what they're saying. He's really just mute this, honestly. We could just see now that right there, that's because he was coming off the back foot, correct? Mm-hmm. If I look at that correctly.
Rolling weak side there. Off the back foot. Foot aren't really set. Feet aren't really set.
Obviously it's different in a game, but it's
I mean, that's the thing to take with these. I mean, it's just they are just t-shirt shorts just showing off. It's not like game action.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good taste of the physical tools these dudes are working with. Look at that.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, the thing with Trevor Lawrence is just his precision, and he's able to know where his receivers are going to be, so he could put it right where the ball needs to be. Very accurate with his passes. Obviously he's got that big arm strength that you would see in quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, but he really doesn't sling it unless he needs to.
Yeah, I think that's a very good analysis, is that he has the arm talent of a gunslinger, but a lot of times he's a lot more precise and more controlled. There's a chance he's not like the most all efficient every time. He had some interception troubles, especially last season. He had some troubles with interceptions, but
17 INTs. That's
over 3 years though.
Oh, that's
his whole career.
Over 3 years.
But yeah, I know it was last year, his first like 6 games, he had 5 interceptions or something. But outside of that one stretch, he has got relatively few interceptions. He doesn't make bad throws, but doesn't put his team in harm's way. But he still has the arm strength and the deep ball ability to make the big play. Also helps in this pro day that he's got a great receiver, Chris Fink, doing the work for him. Former Notre Dame captain, for those of you who don't know, is this top receiver, the short white dude he's throwing to. So
beautiful big route across the middle.
Yeah,
he really just put it in there. That's
the thing. He's going to put the ball on the money, like almost every time. It is a sight to behold, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of hype around this cat, but like it's real.
It's just because you saw Justin Herbert. Everyone thought Justin Herbert was going to be a bust quarterback out of like Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. He 6'7". I don't know how much he would, probably like 215.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting comp. Trevor Lawrence physically is built very much like Justin Herbert, but just a little more efficient. I think that's a pretty fair comp just in their build.
Put that one a little behind, but
a little bit behind. Still pretty good. Not the best throw he had in this workout, but that's still a dot. I mean, that's like a 60-yard bomb. I wonder if, as we're looking through this, that's a strike down the seam there. That was a strike. I wonder if we'll see the really impressive bomb. That's another strike down the seam there. One of these plays he made, hopefully it comes up at some point soon. It was very similar to that Zach Wilson throw, but a little, even I think, more impressive. The way he was threw it like 70 yards down the sideline.
That's the thing about Trevor Lawrence. It's always a surprise when he pulls out something like that, you know?
Yeah, because that's not something he showed that much in game.
You know he could do it. It's just something that you never saw because he was always trying to be safe and careful with the ball.
Yeah. He has the tools to be a crazy Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers gunslinger. That's just not his temperament.
I don't think he got both feet in.
I also don't think that was his best throw either, Trevor Lawrence. He's shown he can do it better than that. How about this one? That was nice. It's just soft touch.
My favorite are his moon balls. They look a lot like Russell Wilson's moon balls.
Yeah.
And it's just so pretty because it's got such a pretty arc and it's got he puts it exactly where he wants it to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's very controlled. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, Devonta Smith is next.
Yeah. All right. And also, so just to wrap it up, as you're saying with Trevor Lawrence, I think it just confirms what you know is that he's an incredible arm talent. And then you combine that with what you see on tape and in the meeting rooms is a very smart guy who makes the smart play for his team and is going to be a great NFL quarterback. And as we move into this Alabama one, I know we want to maybe touch a little bit more on Mac Jones later if other footage exists, but I think this will get a good feel for all the top Alabama dudes. All right, let's roll.
All right, let's do it.
That dude just, compared to Trevor Lawrence, does not look like an NFL quarterback.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he's shown he's like a good player. It's just.
Is that Najee Harris?
Looks like it.
That's Devontae.
No, it's not. That's Devontae.
Dude, Mac Jones does not look like he would be a QB in the NFL. He looks like he would be like QB in the FCL.
But he's
look at that. It's just look at Devonta Smith's route running. I know he's not known really for his footwork, but okay, Mac Jones really put that in there. He really put a little sauce in that.
Devonta really clean cuts on that route, and then Jones just dropping in a beautiful dime. That second one was a little too much air underneath it, I think. That first one was very nice. Little tight run. That's Najee's the other guy in this clip, right? Just running full receiver routes. That was a good break on the out. He didn't have. I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, he wasn't like an elite receiving back, but he definitely has the skills to be a good receiving back. Even if he's not Alvin Kamara, who is probably one of the best receiving backs legitimately ever. But he could very well be a Le'Veon Bell total threat type of running back. because that's who I think Najee Harris is. He's Le'Veon Bell too, very similar to in my eyes, very patient, and then he's showing here he can function as a receiver as well. Devonta Smith is fast, man. Devonta Smith is a fast man.
Was that Devonta in that last one? No, that was Najee.
All right, who are we kidding though? These are both fast dudes, you know? Like Najee doesn't have the breakaway speed, but he's still quicker than you'd expect. And then Devonta is just shot out of a cannon. I know Waddle's the speed guy, but my Lord.
That just shows you how fast Jalen Waddle is.
That's a good point. These dudes are burners. How did Alabama had like the best receiving room of all time last year with Judy, Ruggs, Smith, and Waddle?
I just think Devonta Smith's hands are they're like Chris Carter. Like,
yeah,
catches everything.
He's very sure-handed. I mean,
it's like he's wearing Stickum.
Oh man,
a little throwback there. If you guys can tell me who invented Stickum, I'll give you a little shout out. Maybe hook you up with some Playmakers Podcast merch.
I thought
we don't have that. We don't have that yet. I was kidding.
All right. So, what are your overall impressions of the Alabama dudes?
I mean, Devonta Smith is going to be a great NFL receiver. He's not known for his footwork, really. But like, wow, can that man catch? Like, his hands are really something special.
Yeah.
It's like Devontae Adams. He doesn't drop anything, does he?
Yeah. I agree. Very sure-handed dude. Is super fast, makes plays. I mean, the only question people have with him really is his size, but honestly, I think that's overrated because we've seen in the SEC how tough he is, how strong he is. I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you, how just like big he is. I think that's overblown. Let's see a little more of Mac Jones.
We really were just clowning him though.
I mean, it's hard not to look at him. He looks like me.
He looks like a dad, honestly.
Yeah. I honestly have gotten a lot higher on Mac Jones than I previously was. Like that ball, that was a good ball. And receiver kind of short shot it a little bit. I have turned around on him. I think he warrants first round looks. I'm not convinced he'll be a good NFL quarterback, but I definitely think he's warranted an opportunity.
I say he's easily at a level with Jacoby Brissett.
Easily, especially like right now. I think he's at worst.
Competent starter, not great.
Yeah. Like honestly, I think low end, he's like an okay, like a solid backup. Like very low end is Chase Daniel. High end is like Jimmy Garoppolo, Andy Dalton. Would you agree with that as like Mac Jones's potential range in the NFL? Like, that might sound harsh, but I just don't see an elite guy. I do see a guy who could be a starter though.
Jimmy G is a great comparison to Mac Jones.
Yeah. He doesn't do anything that's bad. He's just
I mean, it's just the thing with Jimmy G. We don't see him throw often, and when he does, it's kind of just like it's not anything. Wow, it's wow, that looked amazing, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's. I mean, even in this pro day, I know this is just the first little bit, but it's not great. Like Trevor Lawrence from the first jump, we were like, wow, that's an NFL star.
Because you don't see the like. Obviously, he put that all the way down.
Now that's a pretty good throw right there, but it's not the velocity. I don't think.
Yeah, you don't see the same sharpness on his throws that you do with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
See, it's just not. Obviously, he's a good, accurate quarterback, but it's. I don't think the precision and like dart
Yeah,
typeness of a ball is there.
I would 100% agree with that. I think we're going to see more of that. We have Kyle
I
Trask
think,
on this rundown too. You know, I think that's the same problem I have with
I
him.
think that I think that with that being said, Mac Jones may see some struggle with NFL defenses with the coverage, because what you want to do is you want to fit it into a tight window and fast. Like, uh, let's say, yeah, like Patrick Mahomes does. He throws a dart. Like it's a laser. You gotta get that ball in there fast, or it's gonna get picked off or
Yeah.
batted down. Anything.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't really consider that, but that lack of high end velocity will make it a struggle. He does have going for him is that he's a smart kid. He's your very prototypical white quarterback in the sense that he's almost a secondary coach as much as he is a player.
That's a pretty ball, though.
Yeah, I think that's something worth noting is that he doesn't have the fastest ball. He's a very pretty deep ball. It's very
All right.
smooth.
I just want to add something in here.
Okay.
We just
Some high art.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really just had to put that in there because Landon Dickerson is a great lineman, and he's also a great meme producer. So,
Oh god.
that being said, if you can pay your attention to his jersey number, also he is a man of culture. I'm sorry, quick meme break. But I just had to. This was probably my favorite part of the entire pro day, like the entire pro day process. Like out of anyone, it was Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson is the MVP, honestly.
Oh god, that's so good.
So
What's
that being said,
what's better than a big offensive lineman doing cartwheels?
right?
Oh,
And wearing the numbers. Yeah, you know
what a legend. All right,
absolute meme machine. All right.
who's
I'm
next?
sorry. I have UFs pulled up here. I know we have Jamar Chase next. We have Jamar Chase next, but since we already have
All right,
the
sounds
UF
good.
boys here, let's do the UF and then we'll go to Jamar Chase. You want to go with Kyle Pitts or Kyle Trask?
Well, let's look at the absolute stud of a specimen that is Kyle Pitts and just sit in awe of the physical and technical ability that is this man. Just look at
okay,
this.
Let's take a second. He is 6'5", 245, and his 40-yard dash is 4.44. This man is a big receiver.
I mean, if you looked at the numbers, it's very similar to Calvin Johnson. It's like 0.07 slower, but 20 pounds heavier. It's unreal. Honestly, I think him listed as a tight end is doing him a disservice. These are just good wide receiver measurables. He's just heavier. It's ridiculous. This dude's not human.
If he lost at least 5 to 10 pounds, that 40-yard dash would probably be like.
Yeah, he could break 4.3.
Imagine.
Oh my, this dude's a freaking age. All right, let's see. Let's watch the man just
like
dominate.
Look at those legs. Look at those thighs. Dude is big. Dude is built different.
Look at him.
My god.
He's a freak. And the craziest thing about this is that not only is he this Adonis-like physical specimen, is that if you watch him actually play the game of football, he's got silky smooth hands, way better route running than you'd expect from a tight end, and he can get physical and nasty at the line of scrimmage. It's unbelievable.
I'm gonna let you do your talking about the UF boys because I know how.
Yeah, I mean,
all I can say is that I love this man. He reminds me of George Kittle.
He's a freak.
Or Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, I like that one because Shannon Sharp's, I think, a little bigger dude than like Kittle is. Kittle, I think, is like almost stockier, which may be a little disservice to him, but
I think George Kittle is actually shorter than Pitts
I
by
think
an
so
inch
too.
or two.
He,
But
I-
he is built bigger at the shoulders.
yeah. But here's the thing: he's always reminded me more of like a pure playmaking wide receiver than any of those guys as well. Because the way he runs routes and the way he makes plays in the air, like it doesn't remind me of tight end.
Who do you think? Who do you think would be a better receiver? Like not wide receiver, or tight end, like just receiver. Would you say he's close to DK Metcalf ish,
Oh
except not as muscular and
yeah, 100%.
like Kyle Pitts will run you over. He will
Yeah,
run you
no,
over if he has to.
I think he's a much more pure receiver. I think he has better hands. I think he's a little smoother than DK is. DK is a little faster and a little somehow even more physically ridiculous.
There's
But
the other guy. Oh my God, look at that pass.
it was nice. It was
Oh,
smooth.
that one was bad. That one was not very good.
I mean, the Kyle Trask thing is that he's smooth, if a little underwhelming. I love the guy, but that's just how it is. That's the truth.
He does have, I mean, I don't want to say this because I'm a Gator fan. It's just I just see a little more velocity on that ball than Mac Jones. And Kyle Trask. The thing is, oh, I'm sorry, we were still talking about Kyle Pitts, but
I mean, honestly, Kyle Pitts speaks for himself. He's a freak and he's great and he deserves to be a top 5 pick. And the only reason he won't be a top 5 pick is if other teams value other positions more. He's easily a top 3 talent in this draft. He's probably the second most talented player in this draft behind Trevor Lawrence. Would you agree with that?
No.
Who's the second most talented player in this draft?
Devonta Smith.
Bold.
Or Kyle Pitts.
I'm saying it's Pitts. I'm saying Pitts is the number 2 dude behind Lawrence.
Oh, you said Pitts, not Trask? Okay.
So I might have misspoke, but I did intend Pitts. With both Kyles, it's easy to misspeak. That was a good throw. That was a good throw right there.
I think Kyle Pitts would be a decent starter, honestly.
Wait, Pitts or Trask?
Or did I say Trask?
Yeah, I think Pitts, he's in the,
Pitts is gonna be a starter like immediately. Like
Pitts is gonna walk in and be a Pro Bowl receiver. Like,
oh yeah,
I guarantee you, he's gonna walk in and be a Pro Bowl guy. But Trask, that's why I think Trask is more interesting to talk about.
Who? Pitts?
I actually think.
Oh my gosh, I hate that they're both named Kyle.
So I think Pitts is clearly better, but I think that makes him a little less interesting to discuss because you just know he's a freak and he's going to be great. Like that's something I feel completely confident in. Trask, I'm less confident in.
I own those cleats. Yeah, those are my cleats. That's pretty epic.
Apparently, you're a man of taste, or Kyle Trask is a man of taste.
Those are the same cleats, just different color.
Nice.
No, but I think after his injury, he became a little less, mobile, even though he wasn't extremely mobile to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Trask is that he's really smart. He's a really smart dude.
Mm-hmm.
His top priority is put it in a high percentage place, like where it's going to be caught by your team. And that's a really nice attribute to have in a quarterback and a young quarterback like this, because most of the time everyone mistakes young quarterbacks like him for being poor decision makers. But the way he throws the ball with his decision making, I think he would make a pretty decent starter, honestly. There's another beast right there. The Colts were in talks with him. Kadarius Toney.
Oh, that is a freak. He's so fast and so strong for a smaller dude. That's a freaking playmaker. And I don't think he had a single drop last year either.
My friend said Kadarius Toney is a less athletic Percy Harvin.
I don't think that's the right comp. I think Percy Harvin is more pure speed. I think he's like a slightly slower Tyreek Hill, because Percy Harvin was more like a pure speed gadget guy. I think that comp is doing a disservice to Kadarius Toney, who I think can be a much more legit wide receiver. He was the best pure wide receiver on the Florida team last year, unless you consider Pitts a wide receiver, which sometimes you legitimately can.
These past years' receivers on this Florida team, they were pretty insane.
Yeah, a lot of dudes have come through here.
They had Kadarius, Pitts, Grimes, Copeland. Mm-hmm. Copeland is still there, though.
Yeah, but before that, you had Van Jefferson, who's with the Rams, and what's the guy who's in
DeMarcus
Seattle?
Robinson.
Yes, but who's the guy in Seattle now?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. But there's another guy. His name is escaping me, but he's also a very good receiver. Freddie Swain, right? I think it's Freddie Swain.
I never saw him as a great receiver,
but he's good. He's certainly good. He's not Pitts or.
Now that was
Van Jefferson.
Catch.
The footwork on the sideline there.
Yeah. All right. I think we went through. I think Kyle Pitts is. I want to say, kind of like Andrew Luck, just not built as big, and as athletic.
I think that's pretty fair. I think the best comparison for him in this draft is definitely Mac Jones. I think he's like a bigger Mac Jones. And then if we're thinking of like an NFL guy, I think the high end, I don't know if he'll be this good, but who he reminds me of physically is Tom Brady, honestly. I think they have a very similar build. I think they throw the very similar ball. I don't know if he'll ever be that good. I'm not going to say anything close to that. But I honestly don't think Tom Brady was physically that great either. I think he was just smart and put himself in the right position. I think that level of quarterback
Kyle is definitely more athletic than Tom Brady, though.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I don't know if he'll be ever that good. I think Mac Jones, I think top end is a fringe Pro Bowl guy and low end is an okay backup. I don't think he's going to bust. I think he'll be in the league for a while. And even if he never becomes great, he'll be a guy who's kicks it around, a little bit. Here, absolute worst case scenario for Kyle Trask is he's Mike Glennon, but maybe a little better. And that sound
no.
Hold on.
You did not just say that.
Hold on. That sounds bad, but Mike Glennon's been in the league for almost a decade now. You know what I mean? He's still making an NFL paycheck. All right, here we go. Let's check out the top receiver alongside Devonta. He kind of falls behind or falls out of conversation sometimes if you're not like a draft head, because Devonta won the Heisman Trophy in the national championship, and Ja'Marr didn't play this past year at all. So he's coasting entirely on measurables and what he did last year, or not last year, 2 years ago. With that being said, dude's a beast.
I don't really know what to say about Ja'Marr Chase. I would say dude is crazy athletic. Reminds me of Justin Jefferson, honestly.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same kind of receiver.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a lazy comparison because obviously they played together at LSU. but I think that's fair. I
But
think
they're pretty much the same exact wide receiver build.
very similar
I think
athletic build.
Jamar Chase is a little shorter, but still,
Yeah.
he's reliable. He got good hands.
Yeah, totally.
He will put some moves on someone if he has to.
I think he's a great all around dude. I don't think there's many weaknesses in his game. I think he'll walk in and could be a Pro Bowl caliber receiver from day one. So as this tape runs here, I have a question for you. Let's say you're the GM of the Bengals. And let's just assume that Kyle Pitts is off the board to the Falcons or to somebody else already. Because I think there's a chance he's available here, but we're just going to assume not because I think it's less fun. I'm going to give you three options. Who do you take? Offensive tackle Penei Sewell out of Oregon, wide receiver Jamar Chase, who we're watching now, or wide receiver Devonta Smith. Who are you taking?
Jamar Chase.
All right. Why?
Look at that 40-yard dash time. My man built different. He's insane. Also, he's got chemistry with Joey B, which is also, and no one ever gives enough credit to chemistry between two players,
especially a wide receiver and a quarterback.
Unless you're talking about like Peyton Manning or Reggie Wayne. Yeah. Shout out Indy. Let's go for the shoe. Tom Brady and Julian Edelman.
Yeah. All right. So I see your point, and I do agree that the value of that chemistry and Jamar just being that good of a receiver.
Also, that wide receiver core would be stacked.
It'd
be Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. That's insane.
Yeah, I agree with all that. The only thing I don't know if fear is what the word I want to use, but I think it's more a value thing because Penei Sewell, from all accounts, if you watch the tape, if you look at his pro day, which is actually going on today, that's why we're not watching his. He looks the part of an all-pro offensive tackle.
It's also just depending on what you need. You already got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
You really don't need another receiver. It's basically on what you need. So I didn't really think about that. The Bengals don't have a lineman.
Exactly. I would totally understand them picking Chase. It's a fun player to get. It's kind of the sexy draft pick. Plus, you'll come in right in with Joe Burrow and be probably a topper target who he's comfortable with, which is super valuable. But I think you can get a guy in the second or third round who's a starting caliber receiver. If not, he might not be the Pro Bowl guy that Jamar Chase is right away. But like, let's say they get Terrace Marshall, who's also from LSU and also has chemistry with Joe Burrow. He's not as good as Jamar Chase, obviously, but he's still a good player. He can still ball and still has that chemistry. And then you get Penei Sewell in the first round to kind of lock down that blind side and give Joe Burrow the time he needs to actually throw it to these receivers. I'd understand it both ways, but I think right now, I think any team really in the league should be looking at Penei Sewell.
Where else do you think? Where else do you think Jamar Chase could go? You think he could go? Hold on, let's look at the
draft order. I'm thinking Miami. Miami's a potential fit. I know they traded down, but Miami still fit. Pretty much all these teams that have young quarterbacks. I think Philly should target a receiver, be it Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith. I don't really know who they prefer, but let's look. Atlanta could target him.
This is obviously going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's Trevor Lawrence. We'll do a full mock draft. I think the week of the draft. I think we should do that.
You think since I'm wearing this hat here, you think he'll go as low as 21?
No, absolutely not. He's not falling out of the top 10. I could see him going to the Falcons, maybe. I know they have receivers, but it's always good to have weapons. Bengals potentially, Dolphins potentially, Lions potentially, especially if they are big on Jared Goff. They'll want to get him weapons. He could go. I don't think he'll go to the Panthers. I think the Panthers really want a quarterback. I don't think he should go to Denver. I think Denver would be smart to target another position, but he could go there. But yeah, he's not dropping below 7. I think one of those 3 teams, Cincinnati, Miami, or Detroit.
You think the Cowboys are good with
Yeah, they're
I
fine.
think the Cowboys may draft Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, they need help in other positions. They might get a receiver, but they would be smart to target that later in the draft. All right, who else? Do we have anyone else?
Guys, be on the lookout. Topher and I you want to do a mock draft, right?
Yeah, as I was saying, we'll do a full mock draft closer to the draft, which I think it's coming up, isn't it? A couple weeks.
Soon, very soon.
Yeah, so we'll do.
I wanted to watch Trey Lance because I wanted to understand why everyone's hyping him up so much. We got this man out of North Dakota State, right?
I mean, your team's quarterback's also from North Dakota State.
Or is it just North Dakota?
No, he's from North Dakota State. He is the heir to Easton Stick, who was the heir to Carson Wentz. Easton Stick is actually still in the NFL, I think. He was the Chargers backup or like third string guy. They drafted him like the 4th round. But Trey Lance is the top prospect here from the Midwest here in North Dakota State. He had like 28 touchdowns and no interceptions his last full season.
Bro, those are my cleats again. Oh my God. My cleats are popular, bro. Okay, we want to see him throw the ball. See, that's another thing about him. I mean, I know he didn't have to put juice on that, but I want to see him. Do you think he's got the arm caliber that Trevor Lawrence does?
I don't think anyone has the arm caliber Trevor Lawrence does, but he's in that next tier for me, at least with Justin Fields. Maybe even as good, strong an arm as Zach Wilson. He has serious arm talent. It's just not quite as refined as Lawrence or Fields. I think he's on Zach Wilson's tier, just a little less showy.
I don't really have much to say about Trey Lance. I didn't follow him.
Yeah, I mean,
this is all you, Topher.
I mean, if you look at him, he has a strong athletic build. He has the arm strength to match these top quarterbacks.
He looks like Deshaun Watson.
I think he's bigger than that. I think that's more on the smaller side. I think he's a more stocky, like filled out frame. That's not a terrible comp though. The only questions I have with him really won't be answered by a pro day because I don't have questions about his arm talent. I have questions about his football ability at a high level because he just hasn't played at a high level. And no amount of pro days or combines or whatever is going to tell me if he can play at this level. Because unless you've proved it at the top of college football, and even then it's not certain, but when you come from a mid-major or an FCS program, you just have to find the right system, find a coach that believes in you and likes what they see. I'm just not a guy. I need a little bit more proven entity. So, yeah, it's just, we'll have to see. It's just maybe Carolina takes a swing at him. Let's see it's just going to have to be a wait and see situation. He could bust or he could be really, really good. I think there's just a very large window with that right now. And I think a lot of the same rings true for Zach Wilson, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see one of the more flashy passes. I don't think Trey Lance is one of those guys who's really flashy, is he?
No, he has a big arm, but he's not Zach Wilson.
Him as more of a. I don't get why these guys are getting so much hype.
I mean, they have the strong arm.
Obviously, he's got the arm talent.
I mean, a lot of times in the NFL draft process, that's really all they want to see is, do you have the physical tools? And then a lot of coaches think that that's kind of all you need, and they can build around that. And to an extent, that can be true sometimes. A lot of the other stuff can be learned as much as it is. But arm talent is something that can't be taught. So the guys who have the physical tools, a lot of coaches think that they can just mold that no matter how far away they are in the rest of their game. And I don't think that's fair to say Trey Lance is super far away and everything else. I just don't know if he can compete at the top levels yet. But he can prove me wrong. If he came in and was a good Justin Herbert caliber quarterback in year one, it's not impossible. I'd be surprised, but it's not impossible.
You think he's gonna get Jordan loved, where he's gonna sit behind a good quarterback?
I expect that. I expect he'll spend a year, an effectively a redshirt year, the way Pat Mahomes did, the way Tua should have, but they kind of forced it, the way Jordan Love did last year. And I think that situation was just stupid, but it's whatever. It's neither here nor there. I think Trey Lance will come into a situation where he's not the starter right away, but he'll push for that starting spot. I think that's why I think a lot of people like him in Carolina or potentially even Atlanta, is that there is a guy who can start and potentially win some games.
Did he overthrow that again? He is overthrowing a lot of these balls. Sorry, I'm really just focused on analyzing.
I give your takes from what
he's doing.
You've seen. What have you seen just from this pro day, not in general?
He's incredibly gifted. I'll give you that. He's not super precise. That's one thing that's just an absolute turnoff for me. If you've got the tools to be QB, like obviously Josh Allen came in and refined his skills. One of the most inaccurate QBs in the league when he first started. He's fine with the medium. He's fine with the medium passes. It's just kind of the long ones. He's trying to put it in there. It's just not working. He's overshooting a lot of them.
I think that's why that he's going to be a guy who needs a redshirt year to just fully develop.
He just needs to work on that pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah. And I think that's why Trevor Lawrence is the clear head and shoulders number one ahead of all these guys, because he's the most consistent. He has the arm talent.
Reminds me
consistent accuracy.
He reminds me a lot of Drew Brees. Trevor Lawrence does. Just more athletic, bigger, stronger arm.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right.
I think we only have do we have two more or just one more?
It's just one more. All right. Here's the guy everyone's been raving about. Oh my God. Shut up. Get out of here.
I mean, but you see why though, right?
Is it because he looks like he would be Captain America?
I mean, I'm sure being a conventionally attractive white quarterback does help you in publicity terms, but it's mostly because he has the absolute cannon of a right arm.
Let's see this. I mean, it's just kind of like I'm questioning what he can do against defenses that are actually good.
I think it's a lot of the same stuff with Trey Lance. Is that it's tough to gauge how well he can play against an NFL defense because he hasn't proved it at the college level against anyone good. It's hard to translate directly how good a player is going to be when they haven't shown against other NFL caliber players. But he throws darts. Like just on pure pro day passing, this is on. I think it's not crazy to say this is on Trevor Lawrence's caliber. Just pure ability to throw the football.
Okay, but the thing is, people are like, wow, Zach Wilson should go before Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Now, I don't.
There's no way.
Because
there's no way.
Because to me, Zach Wilson is almost only has the. Hold on, let me rephrase. So there's like two sides of it. There's the physical and tangible stuff that you see at pro days and combines, just the ability to throw the football, physical traits, all that kind of stuff. And then you have the other category, which like, what have you done? How well do you actually play in real games of football that matter? I think they both have the crazy physical and football throwing ability. Zach Wilson, he throws dots, he throws dimes, he has a super strong arm, and it's way more accurate than I would originally thought. But he hasn't played the caliber of football against the caliber of opponent that Trevor Lawrence has, which is why Trevor Lawrence is the surefire number one guy, and why Zach Wilson, I'm not sure, is even the number two quarterback.
I still oh, dude, we didn't look at Justin Fields, man.
I'm wondering if we forgot him. I guess we're like the rest of the media, just forgetting Justin Fields exists.
Well, I mean, I was looking at the list that we have, and I straight up just blanked on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, what do you see from these clips here in this pro day?
I see he's got an absolute freaking cannon, dude.
Yeah.
He's throwing absolute piss missiles out there, man.
I mean, it's what he honestly watching him just throw in these T-shirt Olympics is a treat because
he reminds me of Josh Allen, just smaller.
He throws
He's got a massive arm. I'm not sure about his accuracy yet because he hasn't missed a throw, but it's different when you're on a football field with a defense, even if it's just like half-assed. You know.
But honestly, watching this pro day more in full than I had before, I totally get why people see him as the clear number two dude. I get it. I really do. Because you see the arm talent that is of that, like that's the arm talent of an all-pro quarterback. But arm talent isn't the whole story. Even just, but I say all this stuff.
I mean,
but he's still really accurate.
He's throwing dots. That was just his receiver's fault.
I'm kind of trying to pick holes just for the sake of being a contrarian, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pick holes. The only thing I can really bag on him for is that he doesn't have as impressive a college resume. And I do think that's why he's number two, maybe number three. But I
think Zach Wilson's going to go second in the draft just because of all the hype he's been getting.
I'd agree with that. If you were to bet on it, I would totally agree. Zach Wilson's the guy you should bet on to be the number two pick to the Jets.
I don't think they're going to bench Darnold for him, though.
No, they're going to trade Darnold.
They're going to trade. I think whoever they bring in, they may sit Zach Wilson out. I know that the Jets. They should. That's the thing. They should sit him his first year, but I know they're not going to because it's the Jets.
Here's my opinion on that.
And my thing is, that's what they did with Sam Darnold. And obviously Sam Darnold is not as, wasn't as great as Zach Wilson was in the draft. But Sam Darnold came to be a good quarterback for the Jets. He was trying his best with the team that he had. It was like Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was trying, and eventually they had to fire freaking Anthony Lynn just because it was there. Everything was there, and they would come up short. Like, I think the Jets, if they had a competent coach with, like, even not even twice as good as a defense than they had, I think they would have at least beaten out the Jaguars by a few games.
That was a bad miss right there by Wilson. Yeah, I mean, I do see that. I know they're a bad team, and you can't blame it all on Darnold. I do think he deserves some of the blame. I don't think he's been as good as you'd want to see. He certainly hasn't been as good as some of his contemporaries, like Josh Allen, like Baker Mayfield, guys who have just shown to be better thus far. I think the best case scenario, I think the ideal scenario for the Jets is not to trade away Darnold like right now, Instead, I think they should bring both these guys to camp. I think if they pick Wilson and number 2 overall in the draft, I think take Darnold and take Wilson into camp and just compete. Let them push each other, because having another guy trying to take your spot's only going to bring more out of Sam Darnold. And then from that point, if you get to like week 4 or something, if Sam Darnold is a legit high caliber starter, then screw it. Trey Wilson.
Is that a sidearm?
Yes. Look at the dude. He throws wild throws. But to my point here is if Sam Darnold's a legit Pro Bowl caliber guy, then trade one of them. If you still want Wilson, even if Sam Darnold gets better, you're going to get more for Sam Darnold. Or you can trade Wilson, who's still a hot commodity, and you'll get plenty back in return for him as well.
I think if you put Sam Darnold on a team like the Dolphins, who aren't great, they're pretty good, he would bring them somewhere. Sam Darnold isn't a bad. I'm not going to say Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback. I don't believe that he is.
I agree. He deserves the chance to prove it with a better team. I also think the Jets are a better team than they were last year. So if he gets the chance to prove it this year, I think this is kind of make or break. Or they'll just trade him right before the season and just hand the keys to Zach Wilson, which is completely possible. All right, I think we should take a look at Justin Fields here before we get out of here.
Wow, thanks. Wow. What? I hate this.
Justin Fields, I feel like, is the forgotten man. I know we talked about this on a podcast episode a couple weeks ago, but Justin Fields has been the top guy with Trevor Lawrence for like 4 years, pretty much since they were both seniors in high school. And the thing is, he hasn't done anything wrong to make him lose draft stock. So I have no idea why he's falling, other than the fact that other guys are rising. Like, look at these throws. That's the receiver's fault. Look at this arm talent. He's in that same tier. I think he has a more impressive arm than Trey Lance. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, he's got the he's got the cleats too. I swear, I'm not just looking at the cleats. It's just pink.
So I don't know if you've heard this comparison before, but the comp with Justin Fields is that he's a tall Russell Wilson. That's one of the comps I've heard. What do you think of that?
I'd say he's a dude can throw the ball, honestly. Dude knows how to deal with the ball. And he's crazy athletic.
Yeah, I agree with all that. His physical tools are great. Maybe this is a lazy comparison, and I don't love making it, but maybe he's another Dak Prescott.
I mean, I see that one. That one's better than a tall Russell Wilson.
I think they have a similar throwing, like the way they throw, they kind of remind me of each other, and they have similar high level of athleticism and high level of intelligence and high level of leadership. I think they're very all-around great quarterbacks, especially great modern quarterbacks.
I feel like they also get a lot of respect from their teammates.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Let's say that Justin Fields is another Dak Prescott. I think you can do a whole lot worse than that,
What do you think is his ceiling, and what do you think is...
I legitimately think his ceiling is a Super Bowl champion Pro Bowl quarterback. I'm super duper high on him. I don't know if he'll be MVP, but he can get MVP votes.
What if he goes 3 to the 49ers?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Because the 49ers, they have a great offensive line. So you don't have to worry about that the way you have to do with Joe Burrow.
They have crazy receivers. They do. They got Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle.
I do think I would
and Jordan Reed.
I would like to see them draft another talented guy, maybe in the second round at receiver. But yeah, you're right. They have all that. And then they have a great offensive coach who we've seen get a lot out of guys. And we've already talked in this video how we don't see that much out of Jimmy G. I think having Justin Fields and Jimmy G compete for the starting spot would be a lot of fun and it would get a lot out of both of them. I think he could. And I think if you put him in San Francisco long term, he will reach that ceiling. And all right, here's hot take season. If Justin Fields goes to the San Francisco 49ers, he will be the best quarterback in this draft. Like, we will look at him as the best quarterback in this draft, the way we look at probably Josh Allen as the best quarterback of his draft. Maybe Lamar. I don't know. But it's not that those other picks ahead of them are bad.
Josh Allen's more dynamic than Lamar.
Yeah. All right. But to a greater point here, it's not that the picks ahead of them were bad per se, especially Baker Mayfield. He was the number one pick, and that's worked out fine for him. He's a good high-level quarterback in Cleveland. But the guy who came behind him is better because he's developed well in the right system and is now playing an all-pro caliber thing. I think in 3-4 years, if the 49ers take Justin Fields at number 3, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see that happen. You're going to, like, Trevor Lawrence will be fine with Jacksonville. Zach Wilson might be fine with the Jets, but Justin Fields will be incredible with the 49ers because of that team around him and his own individual ability.
Kyle Shanahan is a great coach.
Yes. Great offensive coach. I mean, he made Nick Mullins look like a starting quarterback in the NFL. He turned Matt Ryan into an MVP.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. You said Nick Mullins and I lost it.
I mean, it's true though. I mean, Nick Mullins came in as the spot starter and looked pretty good because Kyle Shanahan knows how to coach offense. And no disrespect to Nick Mullins, he's fine, but I think it'd be crazy to say he's a high-end starter, but he looked at times. And I think it's because Shanahan knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks and make things work for him, help him out. So then you combine that with a legitimate prodigy caliber quarterback, i.e. Justin Fields, I think good stuff will happen. I really hope this take doesn't come back to bite me.
Oh, that was bad.
That was bad. And that's why he's not going to be the number one pick. That right there is that he's not as consistent as Trevor Lawrence.
I feel so bad for Trevor Lawrence. He's going to an awful Jaguars team.
They're young, though. There's nowhere to go but up. All right, so...
Dude, why they didn't... I don't think they re-signed Keelan Cole.
I don't think they did either. Maybe they did. I just don't think so. All right. Before we close out this video, I just want one more prompt for you. So we looked at those draft players, and obviously it's just the most fun thing in this draft to talk about the quarterbacks. So that's what we're going to do again. So the 5 guys we watched. So Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones. And we'll throw in Kyle Trask in there just for the hell of it. I want you to rank those dudes on how good they'll be in the NFL.
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Kyle Trask, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance.
Wow. So you're high on Trask. You think he's going to become a good starter in the league?
Maybe. If he goes to the right system.
Do you just trust him more than like a Zach Wilson? Yeah, I see that.
It's just because Kyle Trask played in the SEC. Zach Wilson played in...
They're an independent.
Yeah.
But they're not Notre Dame independent. They play a considerably weaker schedule.
Then the thing is, he held his own with Alabama.
Yeah,
and other great teams in the SEC. Zach Wilson lost to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, and that matters. That does matter. How you play in college, like what you can do, and how you've played against good opponents.
We could argue that their teams, obviously the Gators have had the way better team.
Yeah.
But if you're a good quarterback, you find a way.
Yeah. I actually don't really have that many problems with your list. I would maybe I think I put the Wilson ahead of Trask. But if Trask gets the opportunity and goes to a system where he is put in a good situation, like if he goes to Pittsburgh, for example, right? If they draft him in like the second or third round and he replaces
You'd
Ben.
love that, wouldn't you?
Ah, dude, I would love that. But I think he would fit perfectly into what Ben does. And because it's a well-built team around him with a good culture already and plenty of established players, he'll be uplifted to be better. That's what I worry.
What about Denver?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's bring him out to Broncos Nation, baby. I really hope Denver gets one of these dudes because the more and more you think about it, and the more and more you hear about it, Drew Lock just doesn't seem like the right option. Maybe they draft Trey Lance. Maybe they get Mac Jones or Kyle Trask, but I do think one of these guys. And
I'd say it's stupid to get Trey Lance or Mac Jones over Kyle Trask. I'm not saying that Trey Lance or Mac Jones are bad. It's just there's a better option in Trask.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe this is just my inner biases, but I do believe in that. I think Kyle Trask, with the right system and the right situation that fits his skill set, he's going to be great.
It's just Mac Jones was just surrounded by Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Landon Dickerson, Najee Harris, another freaking all-pro lineman.
Yeah.
Like,
they have a lot of dudes, and it's hard not to overlook that. I mean, 95% of like college quarterbacks would probably do well in that system because it's just so good. But let's not slouch him. He's still good. It's just, I don't know.
There are better options.
I do think we can agree that as far as the draft goes, maybe we have differences in how their careers will go, but I think we can agree the top 3 picks should be, and probably will be, Lawrence, Wilson,
Trevor Lawrence,
Fields.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say about this in this draft mini? Well, it's not even a mini episode. It's probably a full-length episode here.
Yeah, it's probably just a full-length episode.
All right.
Do you wanna release it as episode 11 or?
I might. I'm not going to release it next Wednesday, but I'll release it probably as episode 11. We'll do 2 episodes this week.
All right. You guys get 2 episodes this week.
There we go.
I know we said it wasn't a normal episode, but welcome back to the Playmakers Podcast. This is episode 11.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We are very appreciative of your support. And tune in for next time, which will be episode 12, not 11. So, bye guys.
Everybody.